Can you believe it? We are steadily approaching the end of 2022 and heading into 2023. And I thought, what better topic to talk about than raising your pricing? This is definitely something that people feel compelled to get on board with at the end of each year. Welcome, I'm Sarah Noquette, and I have been successful in growing my own service-based online business, and I want the same freedom and flexibility for you too. So if you are down for some unfiltered advice and tips on growing and scaling a business as a service support provider online, then you've definitely found the right channel. So you might have heard this a lot in the online space too, to charge your worth. But I'm here to say that that is all just a bunch of BS. And it is really hard for us as service support providers to, attribute our pricing to our worth. And I really do not subscribe to that sort of advice. In today's video, I want to give you some more surefire, clear ways on how to know if it is time to increase your pricing. Now, the first big tip is that you just have too many clients. If you are in a position in your business where you have too many clients, then increasing your rates is a really great way to immediately remove some of them from your client base. Now, if you're new to this, you might be thinking, too many clients, wow, what? Those are great problems to have. But actually, it is very, very hard. And in my own business as an online business manager, it is extremely difficult to have more than 4 clients on retainer each month because there's just too many big pieces to keep track of in your mind, too much strategy, too many goals, too many personalities. So less is more. So if you're finding that you have a ton of clients, it's time to say goodbye to some of those, and increasing your rates wholeheartedly will result in some of those clients deciding that it is time for them to move on, and it's time for you to move on. And honestly, it isn't so bad. It's quite easy. And if you're in this position where you have too many clients, that's the best next step. I really see this a lot with virtual assistants who are migrating to the OBM role, and they recognize that they have clients on their roster that they can no longer serve because their services are changing, but also they just generally have too many clients to handle. So some of those clients will naturally be a good fit for OBM services. Some of them won't. So that is a perfect example of a time to increase rates, to get rid of some of those clients off the roster in order to even build up a new, fresher, more aligned client base. So it might be time for you to switch up that client base and land that client that is better aligned, which brings me to my next point, which is that raising your rates is a great way to get rid of those high maintenance clients. And if you've been in this online space, looking at you, you know exactly the client I'm talking about. The one that demands your blood, sweat, and tears, the one that calls you at all hours of the day, the one that sends you emails and communicates across all these different platforms, the one that is just a lot of work. And if you have a client like this on your roster, then it's probably for good reason. And that good reason being that you, my love, are very laxed in your own boundaries. But hey, we're all here to improve. And if you follow me and you're watching this video right now, then you probably are aware of the fact that, being a business owner, being an online entrepreneur is really a personal growth journey. So if you are feeling that you have been in a situation where you have landed this high maintenance client and you don't know what to do, I'm going to tell you guys, there ain't nothing you can do. You just need to raise your rates and say goodbye, because raising your rates is going to do 2 things. It's either going to scare off the client, which is what you want to do in a very easy and professional way, or the second piece is that it's going to open up an opportunity for you to have a greater conversation with that client, because the other high maintenance result is usually because of yourself and lax boundaries around what your services are and what you're willing to do. So if you are changing your role in this client's business, so let's say you're doing the VA to OBM migration and you want to offer a more premium service, then you're definitely going to want to use that conversation as an opportunity to say, hey, my prices are increasing. As you know, I have been taking on more responsibility in your business. And so with that in mind, here's what I think it's going to look like moving forward. What do you think? Having an open conversation about that. That might change that high maintenance client into your best online business management client. Just saying. So just because you feel like you've got these lax boundaries, it doesn't mean that you can't sort of save this client and make it something better, but you have to accept that you've made your bed, you need to sleep in it. So lax boundaries, out the door. Move on to fresh clients who you can start off with on the right foot, because let's be honest, first impressions are hard to shake. And your behavior that you've been carrying out with this client for X amount of time, your client is not going to forget that overnight. They aren't going to change their behavior overnight for you. So saying goodbye and doing so in raising your rates is a great way to freshen up your roster. The next reason to increase your rates is because less is more. And, I'm speaking to all the freelancers, all the online service support professionals out there, but especially to you as online business managers, less is more. And here's why. So let's do some math here. Now, you guys know I'm not great at math. I love my metrics. I love my Google Analytics, but math to me is sometimes complicated. So I'm going to make this really simple for all of us here. Let's say we have two scenarios. In the first scenario, we have our VA, OBM, freelancer type role working an 80-hour a month total in retainer services to clients, and we are billing at $30 an hour. So you might be thinking to yourself, that's awesome. That's 7 clients, each at a 10-hour a month retainer. That's $30 an hour. That works out to $2,400 a month. Wow, that seems to me like a lot to manage for that amount. Now, versus this other scenario where we have an online business manager or a more premium service support provider that's charging a higher rate of $60 an hour. This person has 4 retainer clients, each on a 20-hour a month retainer. That works out to a total of 80 hours at $4,800. Same amount of hours, double the rate. Less clients, more revenue. Less is more when it comes to being a service support provider. That is my personal opinion. Feel free to challenge me in the comments, but that is my personal opinion, that less is more when it comes to your retainer clients. Now, obviously, you can also supplement things with, projects and VIP days and all that good stuff, but on retainer, less is more. The next big point is when you are sort of finding yourself in that average space of pricing. So in that last scenario, I gave the example of a lower rate versus a higher rate. If you're finding yourself kind of priced in the middle, you might be repelling a lot of clients that are looking for a more premium price, and thus attribute the premium priced service offerer who's offering that service as a higher quality service than what you're charging. So if you're finding yourself sort of in this middle ground, it's also not a great place to be. I personally really like to charge a premium rate, attract a premium client, because premium clients treat me with more respect. They have more respect for their business, and they're more invested in the growth of their business, especially when it comes to, the kind of clients that we find in the online space who are growing different businesses, like the course creators and the influencers. I want a client who takes their business as seriously as I take my business. And that's why average pricing can sometimes, almost always, result in that average client. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't want to price my services on external factors, and I'm looking to price my services in accordance with how much I think it is worth and what I am providing and the services that I'm offering. Great. But I'm just saying that if you find yourself watching this video and you're thinking to yourself, I feel like something is off with my pricing strategy, it might be because you are too average with your strategy, and you might feel that there is a need to increase your pricing to attract that higher caliber of client. So I noticed this in my own agency when we went up to $130 an hour. I started landing clients that, they didn't nickel and dime me. They didn't ask questions about why my rates were the way they are. They respected what I was offering. They respected my opinion on things and my team and all that stuff. And they recognized what it went into scaling and building my agency. So it really does have an impact. Your pricing strategy and how you view your services and what you're offering is really important. So that's what brings me to my last point. And that is, if you are still with me here and you're like, you know what, Sarah, it is definitely time to raise my pricing. How do I go about doing that? Here's a couple of tips. One, please don't do it in an email. When you raise your rates in an email, what that does is it puts the control into the client's hand, and you will be sitting there over the weekend or over a period of time wondering how the client reacted, wondering what they're going to reply back with and when they're going to reply back. And it just really, it feels out of control, and it's sometimes in many ways taking the easy way out, and it's not professional. I believe, and I encourage our students inside of OBM School, if they are at a crossroads where it's time to raise rates, get on a call with the client. Get on a call, get on Zoom and say, hey, I've been working with you for X amount of time and it has been such a pleasure. Over the last X amount of time, I have taken on additional responsibilities and roles in your business, such as X, Y, and Z. I've also been, having a lot of wins in your business, such as X, Y, and Z. You want to paint that beautiful picture for the client where they probably know how amazing you are, but let's be honest, they need something there, some foundational pieces there as to why you're raising your rates. It is my personal pet peeve, and I'm just being honest here, when people and service support providers think that, oh, it's time to raise my rates because I've been working with that client for a year or a period of time, or I have it baked into my contract that every year I incrementally raise my pricing. I think that it is way more powerful and way more effective to couple raising your rates with an increase in roles and responsibilities, especially for those of you who are making that transition from VA to OBM. This is going to be a helpful tip for you to present your case to the client as to why things are changing, and it's okay if you've been the OBM in disguise or you've been offering these higher caliber services still at your same old rate. Now it's time to level up and have that honest conversation with your client and say, hey, I know I've been offering these services for a while. It wasn't in our initial contract, but things have changed and I really do see a need for you to have more project management, team management, whatever that looks like. So I wanted to let you know that at the beginning of next month, you want to give a good 30 days notice. At the beginning of next month, I will be raising my rates from X to Y, and you zip it. And then it's an opportunity for the client to ask questions. Maybe they have concerns, maybe they need to think about it. Fine. But at least you've done it in a way where you are in control. So I hope that in 2023, raising your pricing and getting your business to where you want it to be is in the cards for you. I hope this was helpful. Hit the bell to be notified when I go live with my next video, and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next week.